just wanted to touch on something really quickly. And before I get into it, look at this here. You like this? Spyro. A, little, a big Spyro fan. If you don't know Spyro, come on. PS1 classic. Got him sitting on my desk there. How cool is that? Right. So, I want to talk about something really important today. I wanted to talk about, because I get this question a lot. And sorry if there's noise behind me. It's probably a lot of cars going around, right? Uh, Perks of living in Brizzy, right? So I want to talk about, is Amazon FBA worth it in 2023? Now, this is almost like an open-ended question, because when people say to me, or when I get asked, Jack, does Amazon FBA work in 2023? What they're saying is, Jack, is it worth me to learn this skill? Is it worth me to put the time and effort in to learn this Amazon FBA business? Because in their minds, and this, I know exactly how they think, in their minds, they see, this is understandable, they see all of this information on Amazon, on YouTube, they see all of this Amazon FBA information, they see all these people making all this money, but then they also see all these people making money with dropshipping, making money with affiliate marketing, making money with every single business under the sun, right? They see so much money being made, and they think, well, what's different? Why can't I make this money when other people can? Now, I want to show you a couple of things, all right? And I want to explain this to you as to why you're seeing all these numbers, and whether it's I guess fake, or and telling you about what's real, and the reality of it, because you see it everywhere on YouTube. When I first started YouTube, it was a lot different, right? It was there weren't as many YouTubers talking about making it in e-commerce and making educational content on e-com, right? So the game's changed a little bit, but I just want to talk about this for a second, because it's going to help you understand and answer the question of, is Amazon FBA worth it? Not only that, is it for you? Is it worth it for you, right? Because that's the main thing. That's the reason why you're watching it. So I started teaching Amazon FBA 5 years ago, and I started selling on Amazon about 6 to 7 years ago. Now, as things have gone, I started selling again before I started teaching, obviously, because I was into it. I didn't really have the thought process of wanting to teach, and I was just more so wanting to get away from my retail job, my 9 to 5, and make it for myself, right? And that might be why you're watching. That might be why a lot of people are searching for this stuff, or maybe you just want to make some side income, right? Which is what a lot of people want to do. They just want to make side income. So things were very different back then, and it wasn't all about teaching, and it wasn't all about just trying to I guess teach it instead of actually do it yourself. So one thing that I've noticed, which is tying into this point, one thing I've noticed over the past 5 years of teaching is that it doesn't matter what business you do. Okay, it doesn't matter what online business you do, because I've taught predominantly Amazon FBA and dropshipping. And the students that I see that actually make it, and what I mean by make it is grow something that has, income that flows and comes in each month, right? And a business that's actually working, not 1 month, not 2 months, but I'm talking about at least a year or two of an online business that they've made that continually brings in income, and then gets to the point where it starts bringing in consistent profits, right? So that's the goal of this, right? So this is what I've learned. And in regards to Amazon FBA, what I've learned from teaching it is that the students who make it, the sellers that get into the program, it could be my program, it could be they could be selling Aussie market through my program, or they could be on someone else's program selling in the US or the UK, right? Thing that I've learned is that the people that make it, the people that make their time learning it worth it, are the ones that stick with it to the point where they push through those initial barriers. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys about some things. I want to show you guys some things. Here's just a few. I've left a little space here, right, because I want to show you just some of the screenshots that of students that have actually pushed through this whole barrier, right? And what I mean by a barrier is you start learning it, it's really exciting, but then after you get through that initial learning phase and you start doing product research, you start ordering your product, getting it sent to Amazon, when you're in that growth phase where it's almost like all that work, you don't see the results for it yet, that's where a lot of people stop. Now, these sellers here that I'm going to show you, they're the ones that have been working on their side hustle, the Amazon FBA business, for at least over a year, okay, a year to 2 years, and that's when they start seeing consistent money come in, and they're getting good money, right? So first instance I wanted to talk about was one of my students here, and I'm sorry, I don't remember all the names from the screenshots. I blocked them out for just for safety issues, security purposes for them, I guess, just to not show their info on the video here. But we've got a student here that I'm going to post here, and in his first year, I think it was about just a little over 12 months, he made 80K in sales. Okay, now that's not profit, right? I'm going to be realistic with you. So profit out of that is usually for an Amazon FBA seller is usually about 30 to 40%. Okay, sometimes it might be a bit lower, sometimes a bit higher, but the average price range or the average percentage is 30 to 40%. So that was in his first year, and that was again after a year. Just after a year, that's when he reached those sales. Now he made those sales not long after launching, which is really, really good for him, but it takes time, okay? And this was with more than likely multiple products, right? We have another student here, off the top of my head that I can remember, I'll post the screenshots, his name's Raf. He ended up making about 130K in his first year selling on Amazon in Australia, and it's the same thing. He had about 7 to 8 different products that he grew. He has 1 to 2, maybe 3 now main sellers that are just selling on autopilot, right? But he's constantly and continually adding products, and only now is it to the point where he is making profit, to the point where not just to reinvest in his product, but to keep in his pocket, to actually, put towards his savings. So it's taken time. Now we have big sellers here. My first very, very big seller, first student that ended up being a big seller, and I mean big seller as in they sell 500,000 a year on Amazon, both on the AU market and the UK market. Athar, he's a student that came into the program in 2020. Now I have an actual interview with him where he goes more in depth about the products that he sells, how much he makes each month. He's making a good amount. He has another business now tied to Amazon FBA, which is more so helping. It's not like a coaching program, but it helps people do other services. Like he helps people create listings, and he has a team of people helping him with that. But his actual Amazon FBA business was making him, at that point, it was like 500K a year in sales. And if you take into consideration, at least, even if it's like 30% profit with that, it's a good amount of income, right? So the reason I'm telling you this is because all of these sellers, and that's not all of them, by the way. I'll post some more screenshots here of some students, okay? These are just some of the biggest sellers that I've mentioned, but rounding this up, the point that I'm telling you this, why I'm telling you this is, the question that you're asking yourself in this video is Amazon FBA worth it, right? Now, to be completely honest, every single online business is worth it if you make it worth it. Do you want to sell on eBay? Go ahead and do it. You got to make it worth it. Do you want to start a social media marketing agency? You have to put in the work to do it, okay? Do you want to start your own training business? Do you want to start teaching people online? It's not easy. It's not a cakewalk, right? A lot of people say, well, it's easy to make a course. It's easy to do an e-learning company and teach online. Go and try it yourself. It's not as easy as what you think, right? There's work in everything. If you want to make it in a certain space, there's work. It's not going to take 1 month. It's not going to take 2 months. It's not going to take 6 months, right? To really make it, it's going to take time, okay? But you got to put in that time, okay? Yes, you got a 9-to-5 job. Work outside those hours, okay? Yes, you got a family. Yes, you might have kids, okay? Yes, you might have other responsibilities outside of work. You got to make it work. It depends on what you want out of your life, okay? I'm not trying to turn this into a motivational video or anything like that, but it's so important, right? I just wanted to talk about this in regards to the people that I've seen, start Amazon FBA. We have sellers in the program, right? We have sellers that are doing good numbers. We've got sellers that are doing sales numbers that are anywhere from, like, say, 1,000 to 5,000 revenue a month, right? Then we've got the bigger sellers. We've got the people that are doing like 10,000 a month, and then we've got people like Athar, these freaks of nature who are doing like 500K a year in sales and just growing their portfolios, growing their seller accounts to huge amounts, right? Really depends on what your goals are, what you want to sacrifice, what point you want to get to, okay? Athar was one of those students that he actually lost his job due to COVID. A year later, okay, it was under a year later, right, when he started, he quit I think he got another job, a 9-to-5 job. He ended up quitting his 9-to-5 job, selling on Amazon full-time because he wanted to, right? You don't have to do that. If you want to make an extra 500 to 1,000 a week, That's still going to take time. That's not some, walk in the park. Okay. But if you ask me, is Amazon FBA worth it in 2023? My answer to you is, do you want it to be worth it? Because if so, then you can make it worth it. Okay. Be like Spyro here. Okay. He's standing tall. He knows what he wants. He's looking. Okay. There's another one there. He's looking the other way. He knows what he wants in that direction. Right. Be like this guy. Okay. Standing straight, back straight. He knows what he wants. He knows what he wants. You got to look. You got to know what you want, because you can make any of these businesses worth it. Okay. You don't have to do training through me. You don't have to do a course. Okay. You can learn online. You can learn through YouTube. Whatever you want. You just got to stick with it. If you give up after the first month or two, or when the first hurdle comes through, or you lose a bit of money, or doesn't work out how you want it to, you're not going to make it. That's the main thing. So just it really comes down to what you want, out of it, your goals and how far you want to make it. Now, if you do want a step-by-step process on how to do it, if you want to sell in Australia and you don't want to make as many mistakes, and you want to get involved with people who are actually doing it themselves, and actually who have made the mistakes, you don't have to make those same mistakes, and you can actually, it's almost like a little bit of a shortcut, right? I do offer training. I do offer a course. I do offer support that comes alongside that as well. Please check that out down below. Ecom Educate. Been doing this for 5 years, right? Pretty much a little over 5 years now. So I know a thing or two about teaching complete beginners. So if you are interested in that, please check down below. But apart from that, you don't have to get into my course if you don't want to. You don't have to get into anyone's course. Okay, just get started and really try with it, and really break through those barriers. If you break through those barriers, that is where the success comes in. So is it worth it in 2023? It is, if you make it worth it, if you want it to be worth it.